Hi everyone, it's Shou here. I'm the CEO of TikTok. I'm here in Washington, D.C. today, and I have some news and updates to share with everyone here. Today, I'm super excited to announce that more than 150 million Americans are on TikTok. That's almost half of the US coming to TikTok, a pivotal moment for us. Some politicians have started talking about banning TikTok. Now this could take TikTok away from all 150 million of you. I'll be testifying before Congress later this week to share all that we're doing to protect Americans using the app and deliver on our mission to inspire creativity and to bring joy. Let me know in the comments what you want your elected representatives to know about what you love about TikTok.
同志们辛苦了。
There is currently a big Chinese influence that I think everybody knows about and everyone's talking about, and that is TikTok. Now, the reason why I might seem a little off my game today is that I barely slept last night. I watched that entire 5-hour thing after work, in between everything else. Woke up in the middle, I got about halfway through, got up in the middle of the night, watched the rest of it, and didn't get back to sleep. So I'm running on like...
Then we watched more today.
Yeah, I'm basically just running on like 2 hours sleep. So
Yeah,
I'm
I didn't sleep well either. We're kind of dead, but it's okay.
Totally, but I did get to watch it all.
Yeah.
And so I didn't want to just discuss this without having actually seen all of it.
Sure.
And as you probably know, the CEO over here, Mr. Xu, he was grilled, basically, by Congress and asked many important questions, most of which he couldn't answer or simply said, I'll get back to you later, or did a diversionary thing.
We were trying to think, as you'll see, we are trying to come up with a nickname for him because literally, I would say 90% of what he said was, I'll get back to you.
Yeah.
Because he had no clear answer on all of these questions, which were very poignant.
Yeah, exactly.
And very easy to answer, a lot of them. Like, do you condemn the Uyghur genocide? And you can't answer.
Yeah.
All these questions, a lot of them were replied with, I'll get back to you. So we're trying to think of a nickname for him. Anyway, we'll figure it out later. I'll get back to you on that one.
Yeah, we'll figure it out. Anyway.
We'll get back to that.
Yeah. We'll get back to you on a nickname.
Yeah.
So we'll just play a little bit here because we wanted to comment on, listen, it's long. It's like 5 hours long.
Oh, we're going to get a little slice.
There were so many important questions that were asked.
Yeah.
Admittedly, the way a lot of the questions were asked in a very aggressive way, as in we already know the answer. We're just asking it for protocol.
Yes.
Okay. But the fact that he couldn't answer pretty much all of the questions or dodged the questions is the most important part. Anyway.
Can I say one thing before this?
Yeah.
Some of the questions were pretty regarded.
Yeah, some of the questions were a bit
dumb.
And so, we like to pride ourselves on the fact that we're independent and we're down the middle here. Yeah. Obviously, when it comes to China, we have a bias. Yeah. Okay, and we do not want China meddling in our daily lives. And I'm personally, and I have been from the beginning, against TikTok. Just not only because I don't like it, but as we were having this discussion earlier, I can separate myself away from not liking it.
Yeah, for sure.
And just being like, well, it is what it is. It's popular and people enjoy it, etc. So that's fine. I'll step away from that. But I don't like the fact that it's, tied to the Chinese government.
No, it's bad. We'll get into some details.
Yeah, we'll get into some. We're just going to play these tiny little clips for you here. Don't worry, it's not long, and we'll comment on some of them as we go along. All right, so here we are.
I got to hand it to you. You've actually done something that in the last 3 to 4 years has not happened, except for the exception of maybe Vladimir Putin. You have unified Republicans and Democrats. And if only for a day, we're actually unified because we have serious concerns. Does TikTok support good? I mean, is TikTok a platform for good? Just yes or no?
I believe yes.
Okay. Does TikTok support freedom of speech?
Yes, it's one of the commitments I've given this committee.
Do you personally support the First Amendment?
Congressman, I'm here to talk about
As the CEO of TikTok?
I'm here to talk about TikTok.
As the CEO of TikTok, do you support...
TikTok supports freedom of speech.
Thank you. Does TikTok support genocide?
Again, Congressman, I'm here to talk about TikTok.
I want to get right to the critical point of concern. So TikTok is able to collect massive amounts of personal data. We all know that. That means it could, if it desired, to use this data to influence narratives and trends, create misinformation campaigns, encourage self-destructive behavior, purposefully allow drug cartels to communicate freely and organize human and drug trafficking. Now, to be fair, all social media companies could do that. But here's the difference. It is only TikTok that is controlled by the Chinese Communist Party. All these other social media companies are not. Mr. Chu, do you agree?
Before we continue, I wanted to point something out here that's it's kind of important. During this whole hearing, he was asked personally, he was asked how much money he makes, and being the CEO. And he said, I don't want to disclose that information. It's private, which, is correct. You don't have to. They also asked him, do you have shares in ByteDance? Which, of course, is the parent company, the Chinese parent company. He said, I prefer not to disclose my private information. So they didn't find out. They also asked you, do you have shares in TikTok? And he said, I would not like to, give out my private information. Now, the difference between a Chinese-owned company or foreign-owned company and an American-owned company is that in America, if there are questions about these things, Congress and, basically the law here, they can find that out. Okay, they can actually go and ask the company, they can give a lawful order, and they must disclose how much he makes. They must disclose what shares he has in which companies, that type of thing, which is important information.
For sure.
Because if someone's going to be testifying on behalf of, like in this particular instance, he's trying to completely divorce himself from ByteDance and from the Chinese parent company, but he owns shares in that company because it turns out he does actually own shares in ByteDance. He did finally admit to it. Someone else asked him that question all the way down the line, and he did admit to the fact that he does actually have shares in ByteDance and TikTok. But that's why it's a different situation. American companies are beholden to American laws. Foreign companies aren't. And there's certain things that are beyond the reach of the American justice system if you're a foreign company. And that's why it's so important. It's something to keep in mind, Anyway, let's continue.
That TikTok is controlled by the CCP?
No.
Okay, I thought you'd say that. I disagree, as you thought I might say. Here's why I disagree. Your parent company is ByteDance, right?
That's correct.
It is correct. So many of the workers who work at ByteDance, they're Communist Party members, right?
I wouldn't know.
Well, I think, for example, the chief editor at ByteDance, Zhang Vuping, is the Communist Party secretary, correct?
He works on the Chinese business, not on TikTok.
Right. He works for ByteDance, the parent
He works
company.
on the Chinese business.
Right. The parent company of TikTok.
The Chinese business is called Douyin.
Yeah, but it's all associated with ByteDance, right?
So ByteDance owns a number of businesses.
Right.
They are
you all report to ByteDance. Everybody's part of ByteDance. Okay? And do you know of any other employees that work for ByteDance that are part of the Chinese Communist Party?
Like I said, ByteDance owns Chinese businesses and they operate in China.
You don't know how many, but you acknowledge many must be card-carrying members of the CCP, right?
In the Chinese business, yes.
Yeah, I mean, the CCP holds what's called a golden share in ByteDance that allows the CCP to control one board seat in ByteDance. That's publicly
That's
reported.
not correct.
It's not correct. It's been
not
publicly
correct.
reported. They admitted to it.
You can on our website we have updated it so can give people more transparent information on this. They have a share in a subsidiary that is only for the Chinese business. It has nothing to do with TikTok.
Yeah, okay, I have to come in here because he's trying to reclassify things, and it's very simple. ByteDance is the company that owns, TikTok and
Douyin.
Yeah, a bunch. It's one big company. It's kind of like Microsoft owns Xbox, okay? And Microsoft owns whatever else, owns ChatGPT, right?
Right.
It still belongs to Microsoft. So you can't, he keeps trying to say that, the Communist Party, member guy, that's in the Chinese company. When he's trying to, again, say that Douyin is a separate thing.
It has been proven time and time again that TikTok is beholden to ByteDance, which has CCP party members in the company that dictate what they do.
Yeah.
He is relying on the fact that the American public doesn't understand that in China, it's not just a different version of America.
Yeah.
It is a country where the CCP has direct control of every single entity that exists in China, which is ByteDance, which owns TikTok. It's very simple. I don't know why everyone has to dance around this.
Yeah.
It pisses me off.
Yeah, me too.
We know we've been in companies all around China. There's a party head and a party office in every major company, and they dictate ultimately what you can and cannot do. If ByteDance is beholden to the CCP and the CCP says we need this and this and this, it doesn't matter what law or agreement is in place. It will be torn up, and they have that. It's as simple as that.
It is simple. You know, I worked for Tencent, which is another massive, big tech company.
Yeah. Also evil.
Yes, yeah, absolutely. And I worked for Tencent. I met lots of lovely people.
Of
who worked
course.
there.
Good people at work.
But they had an entire floor dedicated to the Communist Party in their building.
Yep.
Okay, and that's just the way it is. Every single company in China has to answer to the CCP. So TikTok is a part of ByteDance, you know? ByteDance...
Oh, but the American operations are in America.
Oh, yeah. But I like the
doesn't
way
matter.
he keeps trying to say the Chinese company. It doesn't matter because
doesn't matter.
The main ByteDance,
Yes.
it's got Communist Party members in it, first of all, that run it, and it's beholden to the Chinese government. So does TikTok.
There
So
have
does
been
everything.
So many. If you really want to get to the nitty-gritty, there's so many leaked audio things and the prerogative of what TikTok is trying to do and what the CCP actually wants. You can read into unrestricted warfare. You can read all these prerogatives that the CCP has had and understand. And I've been studying TikTok for years now.
Yeah.
I did a case study. I wanted to prove that, I actually did want to prove that the American operations would be separate from the Chinese operations, right? So I posted my content that was critical of the CCP, but it didn't contain violence or anything like this.
Sure.
Just my clips of my YouTube videos. And I was banned from TikTok. I would say about half of my videos were taken down for content violation for completely unrelated things. Because they were critical of the Chinese government.
Absolutely.
And he denies this multiple times. He says, no, you can find information that's critical of the Chinese government. That's fine if you find token examples. I can tell you this, leading up until now, it was very difficult to find information that's critical of the Chinese government. And they targeted people like myself, who are big voices in the dissident community of China, to be removed. It's very obvious.
Now that they're suddenly under the spotlight, they're allowing this content on purpose so they can say, look, you can search Tiananmen Square and you'll find it on TikTok. But previously, they were sneakily taking it off.
Yep.
And not only that, within this hearing, there was another important question that was asked about GPS locations.
Yep.
Okay. And one of the congresswomen there, they asked, does TikTok store accurate GPS information?
Yes. Specific,
specific, accurate GPS. And so he said no.
Yep.
And so she asked, the previous versions of TikTok, store and track GPS information? So he said yes, but that was a long time ago in 2020. The 2020 version and before, 3 years ago. So, the thing is, TikTok has, up until very recently, because there hasn't been enough scrutiny on it, been getting away with a lot of bad actions, like tracking exactly where you go. Then the thing is, he said, like, now in the new version, you don't. But then he was also asked, what if someone still has the old version on their phone? Will that still track? And he's like, yeah, but that's only a small percentage of people. Again, all these very terrible things that TikTok has been doing up until very recently, now they're trying to change because they realize that they've been caught out.
I say this as a former fan of TikTok.
Right.
I enjoyed the platform, right? But I wanted to look at this completely from an impartial perspective. As somebody that understands that, I'm talking from a 3 years ago perspective, understanding going into TikTok, actually it probably started close to 5 years ago, understanding that potentially this is a problem coming from the Chinese government, but looking at it kind of morph into maybe something that could be turned into something more secure, right?
Okay.
And I watched that not only not happen, but I watched content that he was grilled about, by the way, in this hearing. I watched content that supported CCP narrative. I watched paid Chinese, government agents that live in China and then, regurgitate Chinese propaganda on platforms to support the Chinese government. And I watched that content be promoted and not removed, while my content critical of the Chinese government was removed.
Oh yeah, not only yours.
I know. I watched this simultaneously happen.
Yeah.
I watched this happen. I watched this content absolutely populate my feed and become almost the only thing that I was able to consume at one point.
Yeah, about China.
About China was positive messages about the Chinese government and how there was no genocide in Tibet, or they didn't wipe out the people in Tibet or take over Tibet in a violent way.
Yeah.
There was no genocide in Xinjiang. There is a lot of, when he talks about there's content in relation to the genocide in Xinjiang, he's absolutely right. And it's in promotion of the CCP narrative that there is no genocide in Xinjiang.
Sure.
It was relentless pro-CCP content. And I'm sorry, but I can't be on the sidelines anymore about that when my own content gets removed and then I watch everything else proliferate from the other side.
Sure.
It's wrong.
Yeah, it is wrong. And plenty of people have had their stuff
It's not just me,
removed.
but that I can speak on behalf of myself.
So anyway, we just have to cut through the chase that what he's doing here is he's bullshitting about the fact that, he doesn't know if there are any Chinese Communist Party members.
Bullshit, you don't know.
It's public knowledge.
Yes, it's on LinkedIn.
Yeah, it's everybody knows, and anyone who's looked into ByteDance knows that there are Communist Party members and high up Communist Party secretaries and so on that work there, that are on the board.
The 5,000 or so of you that are watching right now, you know more than the CEO of TikTok about his own company.
Yeah.
That there are Communist Party members on the board of this company, of ByteDance.
And
you can literally Google it.
You know what's even worse about this is he's always like, I'm TikTok. I don't know what's going on with it. He used to be the CFO of ByteDance. He
knows how that company operates.
Chief financial officer of ByteDance.
Yes.
If you're the chief financial officer of a company, you bloody well know who works there. You kind of have to. You know who's on the board. I
don't know.
If you're the chief financial officer of any company, okay, let's just say we have a company. Okay, I'm the CFO, and I don't know that you are a Communist Party member. That's ridiculous.
I guess
if I don't know anything about you,
don't show up to work.
I just don't know anything about you. You know?
Yeah.
It's dumb. So he's just playing dumb, and it's just all this plausible deniability crap. So you have to always look through that when he's like, I don't know, that's a Chinese operations. He knows because he used to work for them.
Yeah.
And a very high up position as well. CFO is not a tiny position.
It's to be the top 1% of positions, that's
Yes,
for sure.
exactly. He knows exactly what ByteDance is all about, exactly who works there, and exactly how it works.
So how much content do you have here for this?
Just a little more. Let's watch a little
sure.
more.
And it's for the purposes of content licensing in China.
So there's not an internal CCP committee, which is a regular thing that happens in China. They have a CCP committee internally inside the company.
I run TikTok. I cannot represent the Chinese
ByteDance.
business.
Talking about ByteDance. No arrangement in ByteDance.
He didn't say.
So
Again-
here's the main point of concern. China's 2017 national intelligence law states very clearly that, quote, any organization or citizen shall support, assist, and cooperate with state intelligence work in accordance with the law and maintain the secrecy of all knowledge of state intelligence work. In other words, ByteDance, and also your TikTok employees that live in China, they must cooperate with Chinese intelligence whenever they are called upon. And if they are called upon, they're bound to secrecy. That would include you. So, Mr. Chu, if the CCP tells ByteDance to turn over all data that TikTok has collected inside the U.S., even within Project Texas, do they have to do so, according to Chinese law?
Congressman, first, I'm Singaporean.
That's fine, but there are employees of yours and ByteDance's in China.
We understand this concern. In my opening statement, we said we hear these concerns. We didn't try to avoid them or trivialize them. We built something where we take that data and put it out of reach. This is what we did. We put it out of reach.
Out of reach, but they own you.
No, we put it out of reach by storing them.
ByteDance owns TikTok. If ByteDance is and the CCP owns ByteDance because the CCP owns everybody in China. And so by law, they can make them do whatever they want, and they say that by law, you can't tell anyone about it. So they can make you hand over that data. Is that correct?
Data is stored here in American soil by an American company
you say that.
overseen by American
We thought that, but leaked audio from 80 internal TikTok meetings shows that U.S. user data has been repeatedly accessed from China when you said it hasn't been. And here's the other thing, following back on my colleague's line of questioning, in your own privacy policy, it says that you may share information within your so-called corporate group. Is ByteDance part of that corporate group?
If you're talking about the share of the entity with the share, I shared with the previous.
Is ByteDance part of the corporate group?
ByteDance as a holding company is part of the corporate group. Yes,
it's part of the corporate group.
Yeah.
Okay, so your own privacy policy says you have to share data with ByteDance. And if the CCP says, hey, ByteDance, you're going to do what we say, and you can't tell anyone about it because by law, according to that 2017 national intelligence law, they have to do it. That's our concern. Maybe you haven't done it yet, but my point is that you might have to. And that's where our concerns come from. I mean, over 300 TikTok employees have worked for China's state-run propaganda media. That's just from looking at their LinkedIn profiles. Okay, so and my last point is this. I want to say this to all the teenagers out there and TikTok influencers who think we're just old and out of touch and don't know what we're talking about, trying to take away your favorite app. You may not care that your data is being accessed now, but it will be one day when you do care about it. And here's the real problem. With data comes power. They can choose what you see and how you see it. They can make you believe things that are not true. They can encourage you to engage in behavior that will destroy your life. Even if it is not happening yet, it could in the future. The long-term goal of the Chinese Communist Party is the demise of the American power, and that starts with our youth. At any moment, they could demand that all of TikTok's data be used to design an AI algorithm with the sole purpose of promoting Chinese interests and destroying our society from within. You want to know why why Democrats and Republicans have come together on this? That's why we are so concerned. Thank you, and I yield back.
Yeah, so
That was well said.
very, very well said.
Yeah, I just wanted to highlight a couple points of that.
Sure.
The Chinese government, coming from two people that lived in China over a decade that speak Chinese and understand the motivations of how things have shifted under the Xi Jinping regime, under the current regime, it's not the China from before. The current prerogative of China is actually to become the global opinion leader in everything, to make sure that the rest of the world is serving its best interests.
Yeah.
It's gotten there, with the help of America up to this point. All these American companies that helped bolster its economy.
Yeah, investments.
Open its manufacturing section, all of these things. But now China's gotten to a point under this kind of distilled power dictatorship that it wants to not only be the global economic power in the world, but it also wants to make sure that everyone falls in line with its ideology. Yeah. Again, I like to bring this setup all the time. We're talking about a country that's a 9 out of 100 on the Freedom House Index. This is one of the least free countries in the entire world. We watched it tank. It didn't get that free when we were there, but there was a gray area where things were allowed to kind of proliferate and get better. Things are in the toilet now. It is not a free country. It's a dictatorship.
Yeah.
And it is now accessing American user data, hundreds of millions of people around the world, all of their user data, what they like, and crafting algorithms around that. So I'd like to just step away for 2 seconds from the whole data security thing. Mm-hmm. Maybe China has access to all of your personal data, where you go, where you shop, and maybe you say, I don't care about that, right? I don't care that a nefarious government that wants the demise of my nation is crafting an algorithm around me to disrupt my thoughts and put me on a negative path in life. Let's just say you don't even give a shit about that.
Right.
What you probably should give a shit about, though, is not just the algorithm itself and not just where your data is going. It's the intent of all of this. This is unrestricted warfare coming from an authoritarian state that is trying to manipulate the public, get them to vote a certain way, get them to think a certain way, and really actually just shift the very nature of an entire country, and is successfully doing so. Mm-hmm. I think one thing I was disappointed about in this whole hearing was that people are talking about it with plausible deniability. When we know, with 10 plus years of experience in China, that this is what's happening already.
Yeah.
It's already been laid bare. They've made their plans. And if you watch Chinese media, and I think a lot of these people in Congress unfortunately don't speak Chinese, you'll see that what they tell their people is that America is already the enemy and we're already at war.
Yeah.
They're training their populace in the education system to hate the rest of the world while we teach our kids to love the rest of the world, right? This has already begun, and I don't know why we keep dancing around this topic and saying, oh, maybe when this happens in the future, it will be really bad. It's already happened. So this should have happened yesterday.
Yeah, I actually want to take on another point here. We know that, especially recently, they've been cracking a lot of cases about spying in corporate espionage and corporate spying. And, for instance, they've caught many people that have been approached by the Chinese government, either through LinkedIn, usually Chinese nationals, or, maybe ethnically Chinese people living in America. And they find them on LinkedIn and so on. They find people that are working in the Defense Department or so on.
This is huge.
So they approach them, they kind of wine and dine them. They say, hey, come do a speech at a university in China next time you're visiting family. Or how about you visit your family? We'll pay for the ticket. And then they're like, oh, tell us a little bit about what you're working on over there. And then it gets to a point where they start to offer them big monetary incentives. They either pay them a lot of money or they say, hey, we'll set up a research institute for you here in in China. All you need to do is get your proprietary information and bring it over with you. And the FBI and so on, and the Department of Justice and all that, they keep busting people constantly while they're trying to leave with like USB sticks full of like very important sensitive information, or they've already sent it over. They sent it over in one way or the other. They've either sent CDs or emailed it or sent file transfers of all this very sensitive information has already been sent. So this is from actual American companies that already have very high security level on them. Okay, the Chinese government still infiltrates those. So imagine if the company belongs to China. They don't even need to go through these extra steps. They just tell, and I'm not saying Mr. Xu over there, but they tell anyone that works in TikTok, hey, because TikTok's whole idea to try and placate people is, we're going to set up this firewall. It's called Project Texas. We're going to set up a firewall. We're going to put all the data in America. We're going to make sure that it's got oversight by American people and all that crap. Okay, so what about the American person who is working for TikTok, who they say, we need information. The Chinese government contacts them and says, we need information about Matthew Tai. Okay? They say, okay, they go into the firewall as their American oversight person. They draw all that information out, put it on a USB stick, burn it to a CD, if people even still do that, put it on a floppy disk. Doesn't matter. Okay, but you know what I mean. Yeah. Just take the data out, put it on your laptop, go home, sit on your own Wi-Fi network, and then send it off to them.
Yeah.
The data is completely vulnerable because, as you heard there, and as we've been telling all of you guys for years now, Chinese companies like ByteDance are beholden to the CCP.
Yeah.
They have to do it, and they have to be sworn to secrecy when they're doing it. So when the intelligence officers come to them and say, we need his information, they'll contact the person they trust in the company that's working at TikTok. Because remember, lots of Chinese employees work for TikTok, okay, and work for Douyin, and they'll approach the person that's loyal to the CCP and be like, okay, go and get that information. So there won't be a paper trail of someone trying to access a firewall or break through or open a port on a firewall or something. It'll just be someone who goes into a DMZ or whatever within the network, copies the stuff off, whatever way, and then goes and gives it to the Chinese government. So it's really insecure. And unless the ties with China are completely cut,
the company must be sold off away from China, and China cut off for this. The only way this would work.
And all the employees that, are Chinese government connected or so need to be removed from the company. It's the only way.
There can't be any sort of operations at all in China.
Yeah. So unfortunately, as much as they're trying to placate people with this nonsense that they're going to try and make it secure, it can never be secure.
TikTok has been caught with key loggers in the browser, and was it the browser and chat feature, I believe?
Yeah, I think so, yeah. They say it's for spam bots or something.
For spam bots, and they said it's company practice. But what if I told you that they have already used in the internal code of TikTok to be able to pinpoint and track journalists?
Yeah.
They've already done this. They've already breached these things. They've already kind of overstepped that red line, so to speak, right? They have been feeding children content that has been promoting eating disorders. They have been promoting destructive behavior.
Suicide.
When they find suicide, unaliving yourself, as they say, to avoid TOS.
All this other garbage like the blackout challenges and the NyQuil chicken and
all this stuff,
whatever Spanish scars that people are harming themselves,
If you read through things like unrestricted warfare and you understand the ultimate goal of the Chinese government's kind of global influence campaign, and so watch, countries that criticize it or free democracies that get in the way of what it does, or its operations. The whole idea is that you promote and get into that society. You get into all of these different media companies, tech companies. You get into things like Google, Facebook. ByteDance is ultimately just controlled by the CCP. You don't have to do anything. There's no layer there.
Yeah.
And what you do is you find ways to influence society in a negative way.
Yeah.
And that's already been happening. So I don't know why anyone is looking at this like there's some plausible deniability here. It's already been caught out doing this. And the most important feature of this, while China has its own version of TikTok called Douyin.
Yep.
And that feeds positive material to its citizens and blocks bad material that they deem bad for society so that they can shape and mold society how they see fit.
They don't allow the NyQuil chicken or Tide Pod challenge or whatever, blackout challenge.
It's incredibly filtered. It's incredibly curated to make people a more positive person in Chinese society. And the American algorithm seems to be created or being curated to be a negative influence on people.
Sure.
Simple as that.
Yeah, I mean, that's definitely a big part of it.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yep. What's this?
Oh, crossing the red line.
What's going on?
This is a segment when China says that the U.S. has crossed, or any other country has crossed the final red line.
Yes.
And this is a very important telling point, because what has been this whole crux of this thing is that China has said what?
that ByteDance is a private company. Okay, well, that's what the CEO kept going on about. It was his biggest thing. Oh, it's a private company. You know, the Chinese government doesn't have any control over it. That's a bunch of bullshit. We all know it's a bunch of bullshit, but that's been the official line. So then why does the Chinese government spokesperson come out and say this?
技术出口问题必须按照中国的法律法规履行行政许可程序，中国政府将依法作出决定。
If the US government forces TikTok to be sold, it will be a technology export issue, and the administrative admission procedure must be performed in accordance with China's laws, and China's government will make a decision according to the laws. That is from the Ministry of Commerce of China.
So, I mean, I guess you should have put in there a Chinese technology export issue.
Sorry.
But this is the Ministry of Commerce of China saying that they will decide, the Chinese government, will decide whether this sale could ever go through.
Yeah.
And if it did go through, it would be considered a Chinese technology export issue. In other words, this TikTok program is a proprietary Chinese technology.
Okay, thanks for saying that. Appreciate that.
And only the Chinese government will be the ones to decide whether or not it gets sold because it belongs to them.
I appreciate the Chinese government being so transparent for once and admitting that, yes, this is your tool. This is literally a tool of the Chinese government. Why do you have the central state power going, the state power apparatus to go out and defend TikTok then?
If it was a private company again, you would have a private spokesperson from TikTok going out there to defend it or to talk about it. Not the Chinese, not the Ministry of Commerce of China. You know?
They have been going out there, by the way, on content, setting Wumaos, like paid internet trolls, to shut down any debate of this. And we're watching a classic CCP tactic unfolding right now. If you want TikTok banned or a forced transfer, and you want TikTok to be scrutinized, then you're racist now.
Oh, of course.
And they're pulling that.
Anti-Asian, you're xenophobic, you're racist, you're U.S. imperialist, you're insecure.
Xenophobic, all that kind of stuff, right?
I mean, what the hell? China bans every single social media. They
Facebook, everything.
Yeah.
Everything's blocked in China. So what the hell are you talking about? I don't like that we have to keep bringing this up again, but China blocks everything.
They block TikTok.
Okay.
They banned TikTok.
This gets me onto some really big bullshit that really, really pissed me off.
From the horse's mouth, by the way. If you guys ever wanted to know what China's real, take on it, not the shifty CEO of TikTok, because he's really good at mincing his words. By the way, before you get into this, immediately after the whole Congress thing, or the next day or the next morning, he released a video on TikTok, which of course went viral because they control the algorithm. Yeah. It's very easy for them to make it go viral, where he was like, oh, we're doing this thing. It's going to be safe and secure. We love our platform, etc. Go. And he ends it by saying, tell your friends and family how secure, safe, and amazing TikTok is, and your elected representatives.
He's literally trying to manipulate the Congress.
This is exactly what people are afraid of, is that it's a tool of the Chinese government. It's a tool of influence. And he's going out there and he's trying to influence the law in America by telling all of his followers or all the people on TikTok, and of course the video went viral because he is the CEO of TikTok and they boosted it. Everybody's getting this message. Big Brother's watching you. Go tell your elected representative that TikTok is great. Tell your friends, tell your family that TikTok is safe, secure, stable.
What are you quoting there?
There is no Tiananmen Square massacre. It's a lie. That kind of thing. Anyway, he didn't say that.
By the way, out of context.
Yeah, that's out of context.
That's Mario Cavallo.
But he said, go and tell your elected representative. So I just wanted to tell you that that's kind of what's going on. Anyway, you get onto your thing here.
So I get real pissed off because I do rely on a lot of, well, I shouldn't say rely on, but I use a lot of fact checkers, and at least to gauge if there's any big missteps inside of media.
Yeah.
So oftentimes I'll use media bias fact checker and all this kind of stuff, and I use my own judgment obviously, but I'll look at mistakes outlets have made and then judge my own credibility rating based on that, right? I think it's good. A ground news, something we love to use. Shows you left, right, center bias, and it tells you who funds what. It's fantastic. I like transparency in media, right? Snopes is something I've been using for ages. This is early, 90s internet, It's been around as a fact checker, right?
Sure.
And it's been very trustworthy, especially with things related to science and stuff like that, right?
Yeah.
Snopes is not some bullshit website where you go and you just type something in and it's it's right or wrong, and there's a lot of scrutiny that goes into it.
So you're saying that you approve of Snopes?
Yes.
Okay.
I've been a fan.
Okay, you're a big fan.
So
Not today.
it surprised me
Yeah.
to see this go on here, and it said, "Is TikTok banned in China?" And they deemed that as false. Now, I was livid and shocked at this, and before I even get into the details, I want to make an appeal to Snopes, as I did to Quora. Either rectify this or explain your position, because this is wrong. This is absolutely wrong. Let me read you what they wrote.
Okay.
It says, in early March 2023, claims began to spread on social media platforms that TikTok is banned in China. We found the claim false. Okay. A video is posted, blah, 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 claimed the social media app had been banned from the country. Did you know that TikTok is also banned in China, the video said? Yes. See, here's a list of apps that are banned in China. So TikTok is even banned in China. Now, we would be considered in that list of people that said that. So they go on to basically say that TikTok was never banned in China because it was never available in China. And their claim is that China has Douyin, which is their version, and then TikTok is the international version, right? So it's not banned, it's just not available in China because China has their own version. What this fails to say, and what this really insinuates, is that they're the same program with the same algorithm, with the same whatever. It's just that that's like the Chinese language version. So that's the one you download when you're in China. So you can't go on there and say that TikTok is not banned in China, because guess what? It is.
It is.
Your claim is false. So please go to my next slide so that everyone can see very clearly here in this case that Snopes is false. I don't know where that went there, but what I will say is that, there it is.
Okay.
My test for Snopes. If you want to be a fact checker, you can get a Chinese tourist visa now, okay?
Yeah.
You can.
Yeah.
Go to, let's have your representative. Let's see, who wrote that article? Who wrote that article?
Don't know. Some Snopes dude.
No, it's a woman.
I like, okay, some Snopes woman. Let's go back.
a Snope woman here.
Yeah, official
sorry,
Snopes woman of Snopes.
Sorry, no, it's Liz Scott. Okay, yeah.
Liz Scott like something.
Okay, yeah, I can't. It's too small. Anyway, go back to my poignant Snopes false claim.
Okay.
While I talk about this, I have a challenge
sorry.
for them.
Yeah.
Okay. As a fact checker, I believe, just like we do, is you should put in your best effort to go and try to find if something is true. Otherwise, you don't make a claim that something is false, right?
Sure.
Liz, or whoever wants to do this, whoever gets put on the next, if you actually heed my advice here, go to your Chinese embassy, apply for a Chinese visa, get a tourist visa, take your iPhone or Android, I don't care what you use. Don't have a VPN on there.
Yeah.
Just have it stock, okay?
Mm-hmm.
Have TikTok on your phone and then go to China. Then open TikTok and tell me what happens.
Yeah.
Please, that's my only appeal. That's all I ask. I'm not going to say anything after that.
doesn't
Go to
work.
China with TikTok on your phone and tell me what it does. I
Yeah.
want to know, Snopes, because if you're going to make a claim that it's not banned in China, and you're going to swing this whole idea that China doesn't ban content like that, then go prove it. Prove it to me.
Dude, they literally said it's not banned. It's not banned. It's just not available.
But that's wrong too.
Yeah,
that's
it's
also
like saying
wrong.
gay marriage isn't banned. It's just not available.
Yes, that's also like dicey wording for them. But so you're right?
It's just a stupid way of trying to soften.
I understand, but it's even worse because it is banned. If you go to China right now with TikTok on your phone, it won't work. It is banned in China. It's blocked.
It's like saying drinking in public in Dubai is not banned. It's just not available.
Correct. It's not available.
Yeah.
Right.
You just can't buy alcohol.
You can't buy
there.
alcohol. And it's illegal.
Yes. On top of that.
Yeah.
That's some pretty low blow there, Snopes.
It's wrong. It is banned, and you cannot go to China with TikTok on your phone because it won't work. You need to use a VPN.
Even the CEO kept saying in the trail that TikTok isn't available in mainland China.
Correct. So just to prove my point, if you have a little hunt around, if you want to find websites that help you travel around China, there are guides that say, in recent guides up to around this time in March, that say, unfortunately, you'll only be able to use Douyin in China unless you download a VPN first. Then you can unblock your TikTok on your phone and you'll be able to use the international version of TikTok in China. It literally would have taken you 5 minutes, and that's what gives me super bad vibes about this Snopes thing. During this very contentious time, where people are trying to get find which way, is Congress full of shit? Is TikTok full of shit?
Yeah.
I don't know who to believe. I love this app. I hate this app.
Yeah.
That's a very detrimental thing to put out there, especially if it's wrong.
Well, whoever wrote it I'm guessing, is a big fan of TikTok. Maybe they make a lot of money on TikTok.
Maybe they have their own TikTok channel. Who knows? I'm not going to speculate because unlike Snopes, I would like to prove it before I make any statement.
Yeah, I know. I'm just throwing out a couple of reasons there, you know.
Yeah.
Maybe they're a Communist Party member. You never know. Plenty of Chinese Communist Party members all around the world. You know, there's 90 million of them or something.
Yes.
They really are.
90 million.
There's 90 million Chinese Communist Party members.
Yeah.
And they're not all in China. That's the thing. The people running the Confucius Institute in your university, they're Communist Party members.
There are party members in that entourage. Not all of them. There are Communist Party members.
Definitely. I mean, that's why they were sent there. Anyway, let's continue on. What have we got up here? TikTok trackers embedded in U.S. state government websites.
It gets worse. Okay, guys, like if you didn't need a bigger laundry list of what TikTok's done wrong, there are tracking pixels. This is basic. You can explain what a tracking pixel is, period, like on a website.
Yeah, when you go to a website, it just keeps track of who's going there and who's visiting it. And it can...
You imagine like it's a tiny little square embedded in the page, and that's basically how you keep stats on web pages. It's par for the course, right? Yeah. But TikTok would potentially have access to with their own tracking pixels if they were embedded on certain websites.
Yeah.
Well, it was found in 2022 that on this Arizona Department of Economic Security, that's a .gov website.
Yeah.
So it's through the government. This is not some like biz.biz.org, right? Yeah. This is a .gov. There were TikTok tracking pixels, which potentially, and I'm gonna kind of like not verbatim quote, but some experts out there were saying that potentially if there are TikTok tracking pixels inside of government websites, if all of this data was accessible to the Chinese government prior to this, if there was tracking pixels on government websites like where you get your driver's license renewed or something like this, the Chinese government potentially had access to all of that information.
Yeah, absolutely.
And sending it to the central
Just
party.
wondering how they got it on there in the first place.
There's advertisements and things like this, right?
It's popping in there, yeah.
And there's also partnerships, you know, because it was not seen as a nefarious thing in the past, right? This is like stuff that kind of came to fruition over the past 5 years.
It's like when the government cringe and tries to be hip for the kids or something. Exactly. They put like a TikTok thing in there. Yeah, I get it. It's kind of like when those churches do raps or whatever, you know? Isn't it just the worst?
Circle,
yeah, exactly.
When churches do raps.
It's like, it's something like, rapping the, Jesus is my homie or whatever.
Yeah, definitely doesn't drop the N-word in that video.
No hard R's in that. Anyway, let's move on. The World Economic Forum has a lovely thing to say about TikTok. By the way,
I just want to make a quick statement about it.
Go for it.
We've made fun of people in the past that get on this whole
Great Reset. World Economic Forum.
And I do like there's a point where you go too far down that rabbit hole, and you're like, holy shit, like lizard people are coming.
Yeah.
The more I look into the WEF, though, the worse I feel about it.
Oh yeah,
there's some bad shit going down, and again, I think it's actually not conspiracy theory level. The more I look into it, the more I realize that huge financial leaders in the WEF have a vested interest in China because they're invested in China. I think that's all it boils down to.
Follow the money, you know.
Did you notice that in this spiel?
Yeah.
That China wasn't mentioned.
Yeah, it's interesting, huh?
What? How?
Yeah. It's because they're trying to distance it.
Yep.
And quite honestly, your average user of TikTok is very ignorant as to how the Chinese government works. And is very ignorant as to how much sway the Chinese government has over the app.
Yeah.
Because all they're doing is like dancing or whatever.
Yeah.
You know, doing a stupid upside down cake challenge in a Jello or something.
Yeah, that sounds awesome. Upside down cake challenge in a Jello.
Yeah.
In the Jello. You're in it.
Yeah. I mean, I make fun of it, but that's only because it's bloody stupid.
Yeah, but I don't want to be a boomer about it because there was entertaining and very good content on it. Just like any platform, right? You can say people, there's people out there like, I don't watch YouTube. It's full of stupid stuff.
I don't know. I'm just of that opinion that when you see like some random person, like we were at a restaurant and there was like this young girl just set up her phone and started dancing. I wanted to slap her.
No, that's mad regarded.
It's like, don't do that.
Right.
Like you look dumb and it's like, we're all trying to have a meal here.
Yeah.
I don't want to be a part of your weird like dancing live stream.
Winston slapping children since
exactly. Of course, I would never do that.
No, it's a turn of phrase. I'm joking.
Exactly.
I'm just trying to cancel you on air.
Yeah, I know. Yeah. But that's what they're going to do. Remember?
Dancing
dude,
around.
It was so funny. Before we continue, I've got a lot of detractors who are always going after me, right? And they set up this website to try and like take me down. And
not to the Paradise City.
No, unfortunately. And when I made a video about like the state of the rural toilets in China, and they're really bad, right? The truck stops and stuff. And I put footage that we filmed together. Remember when we were on our Conquering Northern China trip? A lot of them came from that trip. Remember, every time we stopped at a truck stop, I'd film the toilets because they were just appalling. And somebody left a comment saying like, man, someone needs to napalm that toilet.
You didn't say it.
No, somebody...
Not that would matter.
Because it was so bad that
Right.
it needs to be like erased from the earth is
Right.
basically
A
like,
toilet.
A toilet. So it's
Not a person.
No, it's like, man, someone needs to napalm that truck stop toilet. That's what he
Yes.
said. And I liked the comment.
Yes.
So they made this article about how I endorse napalm attacks against Asian countries. I'm like,
Wow.
yeah, it's a real stretch. And they put that
Stretch
like
Armstrong.
Vietnam picture
Yeah.
of the napalm girl running down.
Right.
It's like, Winston Sterzel, Serpent ZA, endorses napalm attacks against Asian countries.
Yeah. Because you liked a comment that said, wow, that toilet needs to be napalmed.
Yeah. It's stretched so far. It's ridiculous. Anyway, man, if only you guys knew the kind of absolute absurdity we have to put up with. This is something that was actually done as part of an Australian investigation.
Yes.
I wanted to read a couple of points here. This is actually, it's a pretty long thing. You can look it up. In fact, we can tell you what it's called so that you can look it up later if you like. It's called TikTok, ByteDance, and Their Ties to the Chinese Communist Party. And it's a submission to the Senate Committee on Foreign Interference Through Social Media. And this is an Australian thingy, you know? Kind of half expect a kangaroo to be on the cover, but anyway, I'm just joking.
Making friends everywhere.
No,
today.
seriously though, it would be a koala and
It would.
kangaroo.
Yeah.
No,
Let's not defame us.
No, of course,
Aussies.
no. Australia's starting to redeem themselves. I got to put it that way because
Now it's
honestly,
Canada's turn.
yeah, that's going to take a long time. Yeah, Canada's far more affected than Australia, actually.
Yeah.
I'll be honest
Yeah.
with you. And I've always seen it that way. The CCP is far more entrenched in Canada than Australia.
Yeah.
But the CCP is massively entrenched in Australia, more so than most places.
We're all dealing with it.
Yeah. Anyway, these are just some of the points that were in that report. There's a lot of points, but we wanted to read these.
Yeah.
Number one, a powerful public platform, not just dance videos. It says, TikTok's claims that it is about entertainment, not politics, are untenable. Last year, a third of adult users got their news from it. While 1 in 6 American teens say that they're on the platform almost constantly, the platform has significance far beyond playful short videos. Okay, we know that.
Yeah.
The true origin story. A formative experience absent from founder Jiang Yiming's official biographies in Beijing's 2009 decision to shut down a Twitter clone he founded, Funfo. The lesson, he later told by a ByteDance censor, failing to delete politically sensitive content, a life and death matter. Airbrushing the parent. The website of TikTok parent ByteDance today is bare bones, lacking detail about the company founder, corporate structure, or partners. Excavating 4 years of archived snapshots reveals layers of disappearing information, including proof that TikTok is the wholly owned corporate child of ByteDance. All right, TikTok's Chinese twin.
Remove us.
Oh yeah, I'll get us out of there. While TikTok is a household name, its analog in China, Douyin, is not. TikTok claims to be its own insulated entity, but our research indicates that TikTok and Douyin share personnel and technological resources, have parallel management structures, and permit data sharing with each other.
That's a bad one.
Yeah, it's a very bad one. There's even more damning points here that we'd like to point out.
There's 8 in total.
Yeah, not a private entity. Gonna bring us back in here. If ByteDance was once a private enterprise controlled by its founder, then it is no longer. The company's status began to change in 2017, when it launched TikTok and acquired Musical.ly. The Chinese Communist Party commenced a program of co-option, infiltration, and legal and extra-legal coercion. In our view, ByteDance should now be understood as a hybrid state-private entity. Okay, this is important, obviously, because they keep trying to say it's a private company. We all know that's not the case. The chief editor is also the Communist Party boss. ByteDance does not publicize that its editor-in-chief, Zhang Fuping, no relation to Jiang Yiming, is also its Communist Party secretary. His guidance is clear. Transmit the correct political direction public opinion guidance, and value orientation into every business and product line. Number 7, positive energy for China's military police. Chief editor and party secretary Zhang Fuping was pictured at a 2017 signing ceremony with the director of the Political Work Department of the People's Armed Police, the CCP's domestic paramilitary force. According to a 2019 announcement, Douyin would help to spread the positive energy of the People's Armed Force. Okay, once again, we're talking about Communist Party members that are working with the Chinese military, and they are there in the company that owns TikTok. Whoops, didn't almost drop that. Okay, number 8, military security propaganda collaboration. ByteDance says it does not produce, operate, or disseminate any products or services related to surveillance, but we found Douyin, TikTok's analog in China, directly aids party propaganda and repression, and its top leaders are double-hatted in official propaganda organizations.
Same parent company.
Yeah.
TikTok is beholden to ByteDance, which is beholden to the CCP. And I just want to cap this off by saying, if you walk away from this at all, the only thing I want you to remember, well, most importantly, remember, TikTok is a psyop from the Chinese government.
Yeah, it is.
It's at least become one.
Yeah, and it's incredibly successful. And that's the problem is, it's 150 million users in America now, and it's big. Everybody uses it. So it's in everybody's pockets. It's in everybody's homes. And the Chinese government actually does have access to that data if they want. As much as they pretend like it's not a thing, they've been tracking you up until recently, your every move. Now they've changed it, but that doesn't mean that they can't do it again. If they want to, just turn it on. Because when you install TikTok, you give it access to your camera, your devices, everything, your location. That's kind of by default because you need that when you're going to create videos. And it helps your experience, okay? So people enable that stuff. It's really a bad deal, and that's why it needs so much scrutiny. I do honestly hope that what we see is a situation where TikTok doesn't have to go away, where it can remain because people like it, right? But where it can be removed from the Chinese Communist Party threat. In other words, sold to America.
Yeah.
That would be the best option. Because failing that, the second best option would just be to ban it outright.
Yeah.
And I honestly, if it was really up to me, I'd just ban it. I mean, there's plenty of look at all these other platforms like YouTube trying to do shorts and stuff. It's annoying. I hate it. But guess what? That could take over. There are the other avenues for people to have their little short video creative things. There's tons of apps out there
There's
that can do it.
two very clear options: force a sale or ban it.
Yeah, one of the two.
Simple as that. It's a freaking enemy psyop.
Yeah.